Ladies and gentlemen, have you ever wondered why some relationships fade away even when love still exists? Why two people who once couldn't live without each other suddenly drift apart? It's not always because love disappears, it's because respect does. Love may bring you together, but respect is what keeps you there. Without it, even the deepest affection starts to feel heavy. Words start to hurt and silence becomes louder than love itself. Today, let's talk about the quiet force that holds every bond together. The power of respect in a relationship. Respect is the foundation upon which every meaningful relationship is built. It is the invisible thread that holds love, trust, and communication together. Without respect, even the strongest emotional connection will eventually crumble under the weight of misunderstandings and ego. Love may bring two people close, but respect is what keeps them there. When you respect your partner, you see them as an equal, not as someone you need to control, dominate. You honor their individuality, their voice, their emotions, and their boundaries. That simple act of acknowledgement gives birth to peace and harmony between two souls. In every relationship, there comes a time when the fire of passion cools down, and what remains is the deeper essence of understanding and mutual value. It's in those moments that respect speaks louder than words. It's in the way you listen without interrupting, in the way you care without condition, and in the way you support without belittling. True respect is not about agreement, it's about appreciation. You may not always see eye to eye, but when respect exists, you still stand heart to heart. Many relationships fail not because of lack of love, but because of lack of respect. When one partner begins to take the other for granted, when their opinions are dismissed or their feelings are ignored, the relationship starts to bleed quietly from within. Every insult, every act of disregard chips away at the trust that once held everything together. But when respect is alive, love flourishes effortlessly and makes both partners feel seen, valued, and heard. It gives them the courage to be honest and the freedom to be themselves without fear of judgment. Respect is not something you demand. It's something you earn through your actions, your words, and your consistency. It grows through kindness, patience, and empathy. When you choose to treat your partner with dignity, even in moments of anger or disappointment, you're sending a message that your bond is greater than your ego. That kind of respect becomes the armor that protects love through every storm, every misunderstanding, and every test life throws your way. Because where respect exists, love doesn't just survive, it thrives. To value each other's worth means to recognize that every person in a relationship carries their own dreams, struggles, and individuality that deserve acknowledgement. When you truly value someone, you don't just love who they are, you honor what they bring into your life. You see their effort, you appreciate their energy, and you express gratitude for their presence. It's easy to say I love you, but it takes awareness and emotional maturity to show through actions that you value who that person is beyond what they give you. Love without value fades, but love built on appreciation grows deeper with time. In every relationship, there comes a moment where one partner feels unseen or unheard. That feeling doesn't come from lack of love, but from a lack of being valued. When someone constantly feels ignored or dismissed, their spirit starts to shrink. But when they are valued, when their voice is respected, their emotions acknowledged, and their opinions considered, they bloom. Value fuels confidence. It gives both people the security to express themselves freely. It transforms a relationship from a mere connection into a partnership where both hearts can rest. Valuing each other's worth is not about perfection. It's about perception. It's the ability to look at your partner and say, I see you. I know you're trying. I appreciate what you. It's the simple habit of gratitude, saying thank you, acknowledging small efforts, and recognizing sacrifices that often go unnoticed. When both people learn to see each other through the eyes of gratitude instead of expectation, love becomes lighter, easier, and more joyful. This sense of value also shows up in the way you respond during conflicts. Instead of attacking your partner's character, you separate the problem from the person. You argue with respect, not revenge. You remind yourself that the goal is not to win, but to understand. Because when you value someone, you protect their heart even when you're hurt. You speak truth, but with tenderness. You hold space for their flaws while encouraging their growth. In valuing each other's worth, you build a safe haven, a space where both people can evolve without fear of being judged or diminished. And that's where true love finds its strength. Communication with dignity is one of the purest forms of love in a relationship. It's not just about what you say, but how you say it. Words have power. They can heal or they can destroy. The tone, the choice of words, and the intention behind them can either build a bridge of understanding or create a wall of resentment. When you speak with dignity, even in the heat of disagreement, you remind your partner that the relationship matters more than your pride. You choose peace over dominance, understanding over winning. The way two people communicate during hard times reveals the true strength of their bond. In every relationship, disagreements are natural, but disrespect is a choice. It's easy to speak kindly when everything is going well, but it's during moments of frustration and anger that real respect is tested. When you raise your voice, throw hurtful words, or attack someone's insecurities, those scars remain long after the argument ends. But when you practice restraint, when you listen instead of reacting, when you pause before speaking, you show emotional maturity. You show that you're not trying to prove a point. You're trying to protect the connection. Communication with dignity means treating your partner's heart as something fragile, something worth protecting even when you're hurt. Listening is a major part of dignified communication. Too often, people listen to reply, not to understand. But real communication happens when you listen with empathy. When you set aside your own perspective long enough to see through your partner's eyes. It's in those quiet moments of understanding that healing begins. Even saying how you understand how you feel can shift the entire energy of a conversation. It softens hearts and opens doors. When communication loses dignity, relationships begin to lose safety. Words that once brought comfort start bringing pain. But when dignity is preserved, even the toughest conversations lead to growth. You learn to express pain without blame, to set boundaries without punishment, and to apologize without ego. That's what turns communication. When both partners commit to speaking with kindness and listening with respect, every challenge becomes an opportunity to deepen love instead of weaken it. Because love that speaks with dignity will always be heard. Respecting differences is one of the greatest signs of maturity in any relationship. Every person brings their own background, beliefs, habits, and emotional patterns into a relationship. No two people think exactly alike, and that's what makes connection both beautiful and challenging. The goal isn't to find someone who mirrors you, but someone who balances you. True respect is not about trying to change the other person into your version of a right. It's about accepting them as they are while encouraging them to grow into their best self. When you understand this, love becomes freer, more compassionate, and far less controlling. So many relationships crumble because one person tries to shape the other according to their expectations. They confuse love with possession and guidance with control. But real love allows space to think, to dream, space to be different. Respecting differences means you don't always have to agree, but you must learn to coexist. You can hold different opinions, different approaches, and still walk together with unity and grace. When you respect your partner's individuality, you're telling them, I trust you to be yourself. I don't need to mold you. I just want to understand you. That trust becomes the soil where mutual respect grows. Differences, when handled with respect, can actually strengthen a relationship. They invite both people to grow in patience, empathy, and understanding. You begin to learn from each other's perspectives rather than resist them. You see how two unique minds can create a more complete vision of life together. Instead of arguing over who's right, you start focusing on what's best for both. That's the kind of love that matures, the kind that doesn't suffocate but empowers. Respecting differences also means letting go of pride. It means acknowledging that your way isn't always the only way. It takes humility to admit that your partner's thoughts, experiences, and values are just as valid as yours. When both people practice that humility, ego disappears and connection deepens. There's peace in knowing you don't have to change someone to love them. You just have to accept them, appreciate what makes them unique, and walk beside them as they become who they're meant to be. That's how differences become the reason. Self-respect is the starting point of every healthy and lasting relationship. You cannot truly love or respect someone else if you don't first honor yourself. When you know your worth, you set the tone for how others should treat you. People learn from your example. If you treat yourself with care, boundaries, and confidence, they will follow your lead. But if you constantly doubt yourself, allow disrespect, or give up your values to please others, you silently teach them that your needs don't matter. Self-respect isn't arrogance or pride, it's quiet strength. It's the voice inside that says, I deserve peace, honesty. Many people lose themselves in love because they forget that a relationship should enhance your life, not consume it. Loving someone doesn't mean abandoning yourself. It means sharing your world while still protecting your identity. When you respect yourself, you don't tolerate what breaks you. You communicate what you need with clarity, not fear. You walk away from situations that drain your spirit, even when your heart wants to stay. That kind of strength attracts genuine love, the kind that values you for who you are, not for what you sacrifice. Self-respect also defines the boundaries that keep love healthy. Boundaries are not walls, they are doors that allow love in, but only in the right way. They protect your emotions, your time, and your energy. Without them, relationships become unbalanced. One person gives too much while the other takes too freely. But when both people have self-respect, they create a partnership where giving and receiving flow naturally. No one feels used, unheard, or invisible. Both feel valued because they each bring a whole, confident self to the relationship. Having self-respect also means forgiving yourself for past mistakes and learning from them instead of carrying guilt. It's about understanding that you are worthy of love even when you're imperfect. That confidence changes the energy of every interaction. It draws love, trust, and admiration toward you because people can sense when you stand in your truth. When you respect yourself, you no longer chase validation, you attract appreciation. And in that balance, relationships find harmony. Because when two people both carry self-respect, they don't complete each other. They complement each other. Respect builds the kind of trust and peace that keeps a relationship strong even through its toughest seasons. When respect is present, there's a deep sense of emotional safety. Both partners know they can be honest without fear of judgment or punishment. They can share their truth, express their emotions, and reveal their weaknesses without being torn down. That kind of safety doesn't just happen. It grows from consistent acts of kindness, honesty, and understanding. Respect creates an invisible shield around the relationship, one that protects it from insecurity, jealousy, and manipulation. It replaces fear with faith and chaos with calm. Trust cannot survive without respect. You can love someone deeply and still struggle to trust them if respect is missing. Because love without respect leads to control, while respect with love leads to freedom. When both people treat each other with genuine regard, they don't feel the need to hide, to lie, or to pretend. Transparency becomes natural because they know they're safe in each other's hearts. That level of openness deepens intimacy. It transforms ordinary love into something rare, something peaceful. Peace in a relationship doesn't mean the absence of problems. It means the presence of emotional stability. When respect is the foundation, even disagreements are handled with calmness. Instead of shouting, partners seek to understand. Instead of blaming, they discuss. That's how respect turns potential conflict into connection. It's not that challenges disappear, it's that the way they're handled becomes healthier. There's no competition, no power struggle, no silent resentment. Just two people choosing to protect their peace in each other. When respect and trust intertwine, the relationship becomes a place of refuge, not resistance. You don't walk on eggshells, you walk in confidence. You know that no matter how hard life gets, the bond between you is grounded in understanding and care. You can be vulnerable without fear, and that vulnerability strengthens love. Respect transforms relationships from fragile to unbreakable, from anxious to peaceful. It allows both partners to grow individually while staying deeply connected. Because when respect lives in the heart of a relationship, trust becomes effortless, peace becomes natural, and love becomes unshakable. In the end, respect is not just a part of love, it is the heartbeat of love. It is what keeps a relationship alive long after the excitement fades. Respect gives love its strength, communication its warmth, and trust its peace. When two people learn to honor each other's worth, speak with dignity, embrace differences, and protect their own self-respect, their bond becomes unbreakable. It's not perfection that sustains a relationship. It's the willingness to value each other even in imperfection. Because love without respect will eventually fall apart. But love built on respect will stand firm through every storm. So as you walk forward in your journey, whether you're healing, growing, or rebuilding, remember this: respect is the soil where love grows, the language through which hearts understand, and the promise that keeps two souls connected no matter what comes their way. Treat yourself and others with respect, and you'll never lose your peace or your power. Thank you for listening, and may your relationships be filled with kindness, understanding, and unshakable respect. I wish you love that uplifts, trust that comforts, and peace that lasts. Good luck and God bless you.